Democratic Congressman from California, Khanna. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. What do you think of this executive action?
I'm proud of the president. This is long overdue. These are for spouses of American citizens, and they have lived in the country for 10 years. And it's so they can work, so they can pay taxes. This is really a bold move by the president, one that I think will be welcome across the Democratic Party and by many in this country.
Now, there are Republicans, John Thune of South Dakota. I was listening to John Cornyn of Texas, U.S. senators, Republican senators, who say that this will be what they call a pull factor for undocumented immigrants to come to the U.S. In other words, it will make them think it's more attractive to come here illegally. What do you say to that?
Well, as a son of an immigrant, I'll say, look, everyone wants to come to the United States of America. There are a lot of pull factors, our great economy, our great education. I think it's absurd to say that giving a path to citizenship for people who are spouses of American citizens and have been here for 10 years is going to add to that. This is a rational policy of getting people who are spouses of American citizens part of the American process and paying taxes and contributing to American society.
You said you were proud of the president for this executive action. 2 weeks ago, there was another executive action from the president where he severely restricted the asylum process for undocumented migrants. Were you as proud of that executive action?
I respectfully disagreed with that. I understand the president's frustration because for 3.5 years, he's been coming to Congress saying, give me more funding for immigration judges, give me more funding for technology, give me more funding for immigration attorneys to keep the border secure. The Congress has failed him. But an arbitrary cap on asylum won't solve the problem because more people are just going to go to the smugglers, to the gangs to come in and not at the port of entry. So what we really need is a comprehensive immigration solution to keep the border secure and to have a humane immigration policy.
So from a purely political standpoint for Democrats, is this a little bit of a giveth and taketh away or taketh away and then giveth?
I don't think so. I think this represents the president's honest belief that we need a secure border, but we also need a path to citizenship, especially for people who have been in this country for decades. Now, the president is hamstrung because we haven't been able to pass anything in Congress. And as you remember, John, Donald Trump sabotaged a bipartisan deal in the Senate that could have actually had a better solution to this issue.
As you know, Congressman, I check up on you. You just did an interview a few days ago where you were asked if you thought that President Biden was running out of time with younger voters. That question at that time was focused mostly on how some younger voters don't approve of the president's handling of Israel's war with Hamas. But I do wonder if there are other factors that you think are hurting the president with younger voters.
I think the cost of rent is something that we need to address, and housing affordability. And the president has a plan for how he's going to address rents and more affordable housing, but we need to campaign on that. I think he needs to be stronger in communicating the message of what we've done on climate. I mean, his pause of the natural gas export terminals was huge, but people don't know about that. And I think we need to be more engaged with the content creators on social media. And TikTok, a lot of young people, many watch you, John, but a lot of young people are on social media, and we need to campaign there.
Well, you mentioned social media. I thought of you yesterday when the U.S. Surgeon General came out in support of warning labels for social media. You're sort of the congressman from Silicon Valley, or the congressman from social media, as it were. How do you feel about the idea of warning labels on social media?
I support them. I support more broadly the Kids Online Safety Act. I don't want to plug someone's book, but Jonathan Haidt with Anxious Generation wrote a very compelling book, which is that social media has some good, a lot of good in connection and creating online community, but people are getting addicted to it. It's led to an increase in depression and increase in anxiety, and it needs to be regulated.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Sarah is interviewing him later in the broadcast here. So you just plugged a book we're going to be talking about next hour. So good job. Thumbs up on that, Congressman. You care to give us a debate preview? 9 days away from the earliest general election debate in U.S. history. This is an historic moment right here on CNN. What do you think we're going to see on that stage?
I think we're going to see two very different visions on foreign policy and economic policy. On foreign policy, President Biden has made it very clear we need to stand against Putin's aggression in Ukraine. You're going to be discussing on the show the fact that North Korea is actually providing arms to Russia. I hope Jake and Dana are going to ask President Trump, do you accept Putin's peace plan? Because Putin's peace plan is 1/5 of Ukraine belongs to Russia, more than Russia currently has. And that's going to be a big difference in the debate. And then the economy. The president's going to emphasize his commitment to the working class, to bringing manufacturing back, and criticize Donald Trump, who 4 years ago gave tax cuts to rich people and corporations.
Congressman Khanna from California, always great to have you on. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sarah?